One. Boom. What is back? What is back? What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Pin the Gas Podcast, where we cater to your motorcycle racing needs and desires. As always, I am Cool Jules, and once again with me is my beautiful co-host, Mr. Chris, the whole eppin' show, Simko, and our new guest of the evening, finally an evening show, Mr. Candid Jon Kanter. What is good, man? That is your official PTG name, Mr. Candid Jon Kanter. Welcome.
Well,
what do you
we're going to be as candid as we can be tonight. How's that? How's everybody doing this week?
Good, absolutely. How you doing, John?
Oh, you know, everybody got their Christmas shopping done.
Yes.
Everybody got their new MotoGP swag for next year all wrapped.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, I'm almost done Christmas shopping. As far as the MotoGP swag for next year, yeah, I'm still waiting on that.
The European sizes are killing me, so they're not really big boy friendly.
The word. Learn that the hard way.
You do, right? You buy extra large, you put it on, you're like, is this an extra medium for real?
I mean,
I think I'm more than 4X right now.
Yeah, they run small. It's crazy.
I like wearing the oversized fit. So like a double XL in Italian or whatever would fit me perfect. But the thing is, I don't want it to be perfect. I want it to be a little bit oversized because that's what the kids are doing nowadays. We're going back in fashion. So, but anyway,
and a fashion guy, I am not. So
I don't know.
Although I am rocking some stuff tonight, I'm going to say.
I love it. I love it, John. It's
that's
beautiful.
exactly what I was going to say. I mean, you're not a fashion guy.
I got the hat. You got the shirt. Great minds think alike.
Damn.
So, there you go.
Where's
Joel, sorry,
Ducati shirt. No, I'm about to go to the gym after this, so I was just like, repping my gym here. Because the big boys got to get in shape. Now, the reason why I gave Mr. Jon Kanter the nickname Candid, I think it's because of your occupation. Go ahead and tell them what you do, John.
Well, for a living, I do a little bit of photography on the side, but I actually buy some cars for a living. I go to auctions, go do all that kind of fun stuff. That's my normal day-to-day thing. But on weekends, we put a camera lens in front of the eyeball and watch motorcycle racing really up close.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When did you start getting into that? Or how?
Well, I've been going to bike races since the 80s when I was like 7, 8 years old. My dad worked for a Honda dealer down here, and they sponsored a local guy. Once a year, we go up to Road America for the EMA race back in the 80s and spend Sunday up there. And years later, my dad kind of slid a camera in front of me and let me try it out. But that was the film days, Take a picture and take it to the drugstore and spend $8 and find out everything it took was crap. So thank God for the digital era. Right now we can see what we're doing wrong real time and start figuring it out. And I always love photography, but I never understood it until it went digital and I could start to process all the settings and the yada, 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 So I think my first year I took pictures was maybe 03, 04 up at Road America's, end of the Nicky Hayden era, the RC51. So it's probably 02, 03. Oh, and then I switched to digital in 05 and then been a credentialed photographer since 06. So I've shot Road America every year from 06 to this year. So I've got that many years of shots there.
Super mega.
So what does it mean to be a credentialed photographer?
So, I mean, it's a fancy way for saying I can go a little closer than the rest of the people. Mm-hmm. Not always needed, especially at a great place like Road America.
Yeah.
Places with a lot of fences and stuff, it comes in handy, like Indy, where there's fences everywhere.
Right.
So if you're credentialed, you can go stand on the pit wall as bikes are coming by. You can be in pit lane. You can be behind the barriers that the fans can't go behind. Because you can, like they say at Road America, you can go anywhere up to the concrete wall, not past that. So.
Did you have to show the Moto America portfolio?
But sometimes it's better to be a little further out, so you never know.
Oh, right. Did you have to show Moto America a portfolio? Like, hey, this is what I do. Hire me.
I think you do. I've never actually. For me, photography has always been a bit of a hobby thing, and then it kind of fell into a good buddy of mine runs a racing website up here that covers a lot of Wisconsin stuff, and that's how I started doing credential stuff at mainly Road America. I've done some stuff at Blackhawk Farms and couple other small tracks. All my MotoGP stuff has been general admission, but to answer your question, like Moto America, like if you're going to do the whole season, which I don't do, I think you'd have to be working for a corporation or for a publication, I should say. But usually my credentials are through the local tracks. So that's how I've been getting them at this point. So.
Right. So it's not necessarily through Moto America. It's through the track itself.
Correct. Yeah. It's through the track relation, things like that. So.
Okay,
so you can also show up to like track days or track day events or CRMA racing or where racing and also take pictures there with permission and stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, a lot of track days will have a photographer that's hired. So if you're there shooting photos, if I see the guy, I usually like to say, hey, I'm not up here to try to run you, to take your business away. I'm just up here shooting for some buddies. I'm not here selling my stuff. But yeah, I've done some track day events where I actually was the guy, taking the pictures and selling them and doing that. So, it started off as a hobby, and I still kind of I sell photos here and there. I do some publication stuff, but for the most part, it's just fun, and like it hasn't been a full-time job. I'm nowhere near like a Brian Nelson or an Andrew Wheeler. These guys are traveling the world and doing it, big time. But,
absolutely.
I really enjoyed it,
John, all the pictures I've seen that you've taken, which I've studied, a lot of your photos through all your photos on Facebook and stuff. Honestly, dude, your work is amazing. Honestly, it really is. I love a lot of your pictures. They're just like, it puts me in the moment. So it's something about certain photographers, when you see pictures, it puts you in that certain moment. So you feel what's going on, right? Whether it's the eyes looking through the helmet or whatever it is. And there's people, you look at photos, 1,000 photos all the time, right? And you don't get that. And you'll come across that one and you're like, holy shit, right? Who is this? And then
you kind of want to, it's not always about, the middle of the corner with a knee on the ground, right?
It's not.
I was never a local racer, but I've done a million track days. And not to say I'm an average street rider that likes to go on the track, right? But if you've experienced it, like a lot of us have, you understand what's going on with the bike and where it's a cool spot. So when you're out there taking pictures, you're like, oh, this corner is going to be great because they're going to power wheelie off the corner with the rear tire on the curb. Or, there's certain areas that you know to go to. Or certain angles, like I love the on the gas shots where they're just ripping it, hanging off the side, the front end's hovering a little bit. You try to get different angles and different things. And, it's like any sport, pro, photographer, guys who shoot NFL, right? They understand football. They know if I went to an NFL game, my photos would not be like theirs, but it's vice versa. They're coming to a bike race, they're not going to know what they're looking at, right? So,
do you have any other sports you like to photograph besides MotoGP?
I've done a little bit of car stuff, a little bit of youth football, high school football games, things like that. I've tried. Done a little PGA stuff even. Did a golf round up here at Whistling Straits. We had the PGA Championships a couple of years ago. I did a practice round up there. It was pretty cool. A lot of air show stuff. I'm doing a lot of like the Blue Angels, Thunderbirds, that kind of stuff.
Nice.
Right.
We got the EAA air show up here in Oshkosh, about an hour and a half north of me, and that's a huge event every year, so that's pretty cool.
Oshkosh. You're in Wisconsin? Yeah. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Yep. Oh, yeah. Wisconsin.
Yeah.
How far are you from Road America?
Oh, I always say I'm like conveniently located right in the middle of Black Hawk Farms and Road America. It's about an hour either way.
Hour.
North, I'm about an hour south of Road America and about an hour northeast of Black Hawk. So,
because I'm looking to come through. I have a lot of friends that live in Sheboygan, so like I'm gonna go. Yeah, I want to go see them, and then they're like, "Yeah, Road America's like 20 minutes down the road." And then I looked at the map where one of my friends lives, and it's literally a straight line drive to Road America. So I was like, "Holy shit, let's go, let's get it!"
I think it's Highway 23. It's about 10 minutes. You could ride a Zuma scooter down there.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's really gonna be sick, man. I think the money shot. The money shot is a term that's used by a lot of like photographers and videographers, right? So when you catch something at the perfect moment, sometimes without intention, like people go out looking for a money shot, but they can't get it. But then when you I guess is you hit the shutter on it.
Mhm.
And then just in one of those 50 pictures, you hit a money shot. Was there a recent memory of like your favorite money shots, and what would that be?
Yeah, I mean, just this year, I mean, if I go back in the last event I shot, which was, I had a really cool shot of Daniel Petrucci coming straight toward me. I'm in pit lane. I'm kneeling down basically in front of him, looking straight up at him, and his eyes was cracked open. And there was that brief second where he looked me straight in the camera lens, and I have his eyeballs looking, as you could see the sweat on his eyebrow. It was a beautiful shot with the helmet and the colors, and not a shot you plan, but it's hard to get those guys. Like normally they're so focused, they're not looking at the photographer, right? But every once in a while you get one of those. Every once in a while you get a shot through the trees, or the trees are blurred, but you see the colors of the bike, and those are sharp. Those are some favorites. Abstract stuff is fun. Like just a lot of people, you go to Indianapolis and there's a lot of fences. People complain. It's like sometimes you got to use the fence to your advantage too. It almost makes the bike race look like a steel cage match. It kind of gives it a gritty, kind of cool thing. Not that you want that in all your pictures, but every once in a while it looks kind of neat.
It's more dramatic. It kind of sets up climate for like where you are, because I feel like if everything's just too cleanly shot, then it's just like there are some people that want more of like a grit, more of a storytelling picture than just somebody, just like you said, just knee dragging
going down the straightaway.
Something like that.
I call those kind of like stock photos, right? Like everybody, like, well, I'll start the weekend off like the first practice session will usually be, I try to get as many of the bikes like a standard photo, just so I got a little bit of everybody. And then as the weekend's going on, I'll start dialing in a little bit crazier. And qualifying is always fun to get those shots because everybody's out pushing it, right? Last 10 minutes of Q2 or whatever, like everyone's really on it. You're going to see a lot of people wrestling the bikes and hanging off the tank and all kinds of crazy. So those are some fun shots,
Those are sick.
Those are amazing. So what's your favorite track? And on that track, what's your favorite corner to shoot from?
I mean, of course, Road America is the home place, right? And I'm spoiled having that in my backyard. I really enjoyed going to COTA. I've only gotten to go there once. I went in 15 for the GP race. It was great.
Great.
I was surprised. I mean, just with a general admission ticket, as long as you got a 400 mil lens, you can really get a good reach and get some cool shots. Without having to have any crazy access. Indy was fun to me from the challenge standpoint because you were literally, like there's the main fence that the photographers are sticking their cameras through these cutouts in the fence, and then you're 10 feet behind them behind the snow fence. So you're literally timing it between their shoulders, right? And this narrow little gap in the fence, and you're standing 10 feet behind them, and you'd shoot like 15 frames and you might get one, but boy, some of those ones I got are
amazing. I bet.
So
have you ever captured a shot of somebody and then they saw it and they're like, fuck this, I don't like this, don't post that?
No, actually, well, I had the opposite of that because one year I had a great shot of Josh Hayes coming up the front straight, and he had his pit board out, and it said Hayes in the foreground, and you could see him full tuck coming straight at me underneath the start-finish line. And I had the picture signed by Hayes the following year, and he goes, I got to show this. I think it was Keith McCarthy or whoever ran Yamaha at the time. He goes, I got to show him. He goes, see, I told you I was tucking my elbows in right. Look at this shot. He goes, my elbows are perfect.
So you're the proof. You're the proof.
Here it is. Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, there's been some times that some of the guys will use it to their advantage. Like, see, I told you I had this down.
And I'm sure there's times they look at them and be like, holy shit, I'm doing that on that bike. Right?
Yeah,
true.
Right.
One of the fun ones years ago, Jeff May. I mean, we're talking before the Marquez era and the whole elbow dragging fad, right? Which was a fad for what they thought was a fad has now become the style, right?
Yep.
And a lot of people told Jeff May back in the day he was doing it wrong, right? Because he's dragging his elbow everywhere, and that's just not how we do it, And I got some shots of him on a Jordan bike. This is like back when like Dunlop had that Aaron Yates poster with his elbow down at Mid-Ohio.
Mid-Ohio. Yep.
And it's like, I posted that picture not long ago. I said, look at Jeff May dragging elbows long before Marquez was even on a 125.
That's facts. That is a fact.
Yeah. We did it first. Americans.
I said, Jeff May, you were just a trendsetter. You didn't know everyone was against you, but he stuck by it and it worked out, right? So
And
Jeff
then now
May,
now
shout
look at
out to
everyone.
him too, because he's super mega and he's super fast, and I'm glad that he's been back racing. So
Yeah, no, it's
it's
always
good to
fun
see him
when
back
it comes
With
up here.
success, too.
Been down at Daytona a bunch of times. I was down there shooting some events,
Are you
which
going
is
to
a terrible
Texas?
track to shoot at, by the way.
Is it really?
Yeah, they're really, I just every year they change where you can go and can't, and it's kind of unorganized. And it's tough,
Yeah.
Like the banking shots are fun, right? Because you're not going to get
Right.
that anywhere else.
Right.
Yeah.
But just as a whole, the weekend, it's kind of a tough place to get some.
It's chaos.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's still fun
Makes
being
it
down
tough.
there, especially when you're
Of
sick of
course.
winter and it's March and we're at the track watching bikes, so it's okay.
And it's 80 degrees, and you're like, yes.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you, what is the most expensive piece of equipment that you've invested in?
Lenses for sure. To me, if you invest in good glass, that'll last a long time.
Yeah.
Camera bodies will come and go. I mean, they have a shutter life. I've never spent a ton of money on camera bodies. Maybe most of the camera bodies are maybe $1,500 that I use. I don't buy the $5,000 ones. But lenses, I've got a couple $2-3 grand lenses, but those I've had for over a decade,
Jesus.
And even some of them are more expensive. What I'll do is I'll go to, there's a lot of websites you can rent lenses too. So if I'm going to a big event, I want to get a higher end lens, $250 for 5 days. I've got world-class Canon L series, great stuff. And they ship it to your house. You go to the event Monday morning, it's back to the FedEx place and away you go, so.
That's the way to do it, right?
It's like Black Mirror or whatever it's called.
There's a couple, like I've used lensrental.com is one I use because I shoot Canon stuff. They're a big Canon dealer, but they do other stuff too. But
right.
Yeah.
Because I'm into I'm more into videography. I've posted a clip on the Pin the Gas page of one of the scenes that I shot with my phone in 4K, 24 frames per second. I don't know how much videography you do, but the camera, I'm getting a camera within probably the next 3 days. It's the Lumix G7 Panasonic, and I'm trying to figure out certain lenses that are worth the investment versus rental. Do you ever dip your fingers in like videography at all? Do you understand the concept of videography? Does photography?
I do, but I haven't. Now, like the latest, like I have a Canon 90D body now, and a lot of people have been using that for blogs and for videography. They've been giving it some really good reviews. I haven't dabbled in that much. My thing's always been still photography, and now a lot of these guys are going with the mirrorless cameras.
Yes.
I was really close to switching over to that, but from what I'm gathering, a lot of the mirrorless cameras are not as fast as the current mirrored cameras when it comes to action stuff.
Yeah.
But for videography, I hear they're fantastic, and especially stills and portrait and that kind of thing. I guess they're excellent. I think to spend the money to get a fast mirrorless camera right now, you got to triple your budget, and I'm not there. But I think like TVs, they keep getting better and they keep getting cheaper, and that's kind of what happened with SLR cameras. And I think you're going to see that with the mirrorless ones coming up, But as far as lenses you're going to use, it depends on what you're doing. Like if you're doing just podcasts or blogs, or you're doing things where you're interviewing people or up close, there's a lot of nice lenses you can get pretty reasonable, But I always say if you're gonna buy a bigger dollar lens, something that's $600 up, rent it one time and see how you like it.
Yeah, I figured renting is the best policy, because I wonder if some of the photography lenses translate to videography lenses, because I think the lens that comes with it was like a 14 millimeter, something like that, and I'm hoping that stock lens is enough. The Panasonic Lumix G7 is a 4K camera from like 2016, so it's an older camera, but it's still really good use now. And I think that goes to what you're saying, is that there's not really much investment in the body, but in the lenses itself, because you can have the most high-tech camera, but if your lenses are crap, you're not going to come up with the image that you want.
Yeah, and I've, some people buy third-party lenses. I rented a Sigma 500 millimeter 2 years ago at Road America. It was $150 to $500. It was like carrying around a Canon. I felt like I got a rocket launcher on my arm. It was, but I tell you what, I got some head-on shots at some corners I would never get. Like the reach of it was intense, but you had to use a monopod. You had to be real steady. It was, it's a tricky lens to learn. And I had a lot of shots that didn't come out the way I was hoping because I figured it out, but it was too late in the weekend, so I missed a lot of stuff.
Bazooka lenses.
And I'm sure there's a lot of difference. Sorry, John, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm sure between lenses and lenses sizes and all that, there's an art form to the distance and where to get them just perfect and how to use each lens to its maximum. So I can see.
Well, it's funny. I've done enough car events, especially Road America. Like I've done the IndyCar event, I've done the IMSA race, and like you see a lot of people are carrying 70 to 200 is a pretty common workhorse zoom lens that's really sharp. And I have one of those, and I use that for car racing. But people don't realize bikes are so much smaller than a car, right? So if you're taking that same picture of that car in that corner, the bike's going to look tiny. Like it's not even going to be. And I like uptight shots. I want to see the rider looking around the corner like he's looking at me. I want to be able to see where his fingers are on the brake levers. I want to see all of that, right? Because the beauty of motorcycle racing is that you can see the driver or the rider, right? You don't get that with a car. And you take a picture of a car, to me, it's tough.
The car.
The race cars to make it look action. Yeah. I mean, it's just a car going around a track. Where on a bike, you see everything that guy's or that girl's doing, right? You see everything they're putting into it. So
and you don't see the movement of a car as you do a motorcycle either, right? They just turn left to right or just left straight or whatever it is, right? The motorcycle.
Trying to get those head-on backing and into a corner shots are always fun too, or they're just sliding the bike into a corner and doing all that. Like those are great.
Yeah, it's like they're making love to the motorcycle, right? Where a car, you just kind of like whatever.
You're just moving a giant hump to
That's
jump in the
it.
middle.
Well, whatever. You know what I mean? So,
well, I know they're working hard in there, but it's just you don't get to see it.
Of course,
yeah.
I didn't mean that, but you know what I mean. I'm talking about the excitement of the everything. Yeah.
No, because I've had some car guys that shot motorcycle races for the first time, and they come up to me and you're like, I can't believe I wasn't shooting this earlier. This is so much fun. Like, it really is.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. I would think the money shot for a car would be like if the car were to corner too hard, but you have to get it perfect. If a car were to corner too hard and maybe two wheels are like lifted off the ground by like a couple inches, or
sure,
if they run over dirt and you get that the puff of the cloud, and then that's like the only way I can get it.
All of the racetrack, right?
All of it, every single inch of it.
Yeah. Because I feel like if they're coming down a straight and you take a picture, like, okay, there's a car coming down a straight. There's no story behind that.
No,
so, like, exactly.
Yeah. So if you could catch a car like drifting, like off center, like let's say the track is pointed one way, but if the car is like fishtailing and there's smoke coming out, I think that would make for a good money shot. But it's so difficult because they're the way they are, and it's not like you said, like a motorcycle where you can see someone literally struggling to bring that motherfucker in. So
that's right.
They're hanging off the side for all it's worth. Putting their weight over the gas tank on acceleration, the whole thing.
That's true.
Yeah. Standing up, weighing it
down.
We
were doing that on Rawls's page for a while, where we were doing Wrestling Wednesday, and you had to post a picture of someone just wrestling that thing back onto the track. And those shots are always great. They're hard to get.
I get it.
That's when it happens.
But it's worth it when you do.
Yeah, absolutely, it is. Sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm jealous of your RC51 too, because I've seen it. I mean, you had talked about it. So tell us. Well, I know you ride on the street. So what else do you have besides the RC?
Well, I started riding in the late 90s on the street, and I had a YZF 600, and then the RC got announced in Europe in the fall of 99, and my buddy was over at that show in Italy in Milan where they unveiled it. And he owned a 916 at the time, and he knew I was a Honda fan from the beginning. He goes, you got to check this out, and it's going to be priced like affordable, right? So sure enough, they announced in the U.S., and it comes out in 2000, and it's $99.99, and I'm like,
$10,000. You're like, ooh.
Like nowadays, that's like stupid cheap, right? Yes. So I put my name on the list. I end up getting a bike. I literally get the bike the Thursday before the Road America Superbike weekend. And at that point, I'm not camping. I'm riding up every day and coming back. So I got the bike on Thursday. My buddy worked at the dealer. We uncrated the thing, PDI'd it, the whole thing, and took it to a bike night that night in town. And it was like, holy, everybody's looking at it like, oh my God, there's one. It was like one of the first ones. I still have that bike. 38,000 miles, and 22 years later, it's sitting in the
Beautiful.
garage. I ride it every year. Love it. It's been my
She's
favorite.
gorgeous.
That bike I will keep.
I've always wanted to ride one.
I want one. I've ridden them, but one day I'll have one.
But no, I've done a ton of track days on it. It's been a blast. It's a fun bike. By today's standards, it's not even 600 fast, and it's heavy,
It's
and it's
not.
this, and that. But it's one of those old gloves that just fits good, and you don't want it to wear out because.
Well, that John, but to me, the RC51 was probably one of the best bikes Honda ever made because HRC threw a lot at that bike, not just Honda, right? They had the magazine cases, they had the HRC swing arm, they had the dual radiators. Man. So it's such a beautiful piece of machinery, and not only that, to come out and win it in 2000 and then in 2002 to beat Ducati at their own game was fucking massive.
What makes the bike, the lore of that bike even cooler is, number one, why Honda did it. Honda copies nobody, but they did there. They went after Ducati hard, right? I mean, all my buddies had 996s at the time, and I love those bikes. But they're 15, and
yeah, right.
And I had ridden a couple and loved them, and I love Ducatis. I still do have one now. But what was cool about that bike, it was such a golden age for super bike, wasn't it? That late 90s, early 2000s. Like Honda's like, screw it, we just can't beat them, join them, let's build a twin, and they did.
Must be nice.
And you got guys like Colin Edwards and Nicky Hayden going up against Carl Fogarty, who was just winning everything, right? I mean, Nori Haga and R7, like those are bad.
Troy Bayliss and just giving it to him. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So to me, the RC51 represents a unique, particular time in Honda. Because honestly, John, dude, I have a love-hate relationship with Honda. And
I think we all do.
Okay, well, let me just explain. This is my love-hate relationship. They make great bikes, okay?
Yes.
But when the era come, when Rossi was like, I'm leaving Honda because they told me that the bike wins championships and not me, and that's why he went to Yamaha. That was a big part of the reason why he went to Yamaha, right? And at that moment, I was like, man, fuck Honda, dude. Are you shitting me right now? Without Valentino Rossi, bitch, you wouldn't be winning, and just because of that love-hate relationship, and it was just, but every time
I can even roll it back another year or two before that when Colin Edwards won 2 world championships for him and then left him hanging. He ended up on that fireball.
And Hayden got the ride, right? And he ended up going to Aprilia. Yeah, after they had an initial contract for him to do it.
Right. But
right,
kind of left him
2 world championships, dude. See, so yes, my love-hate relationship with Honda, right?
We don't call them the evil empire at times for nothing. So
absolutely, but still to this day, every time I see that beautiful RC51, I'm like,
so sexy. So sexy.
Well,
and it sounds so good.
Like the RC30s and the 45s. I got to ride an RC45 a couple of years ago. A buddy up here's got all 3 of them. And I haven't ridden a 30 yet, but the 45 was pretty sweet.
I'm sure it's magnificent.
Yeah,
and it probably does. It still have that gear-driven whine that the RC51 has.
Yeah, what's
for the
crazy?
Gear-driven cans.
From the 45 to the 51, like you wouldn't think, being that they're 5-6 years development apart, maybe a little more, which is 100 years in development. But it's crazy when you get on it, the feel. You don't know it's a V4, that power band, the sound of the gear-driven cams, all that. It translates to RC. You can tell it's passed down. You get that. Yeah. I don't know if it's that way with the RC30. I haven't ridden one, but the 45 to the 51, there's definitely a connection there,
And it makes you feel special riding it. Just like a 916 or a 748 or, those any of those special bikes, an R7 or RW01, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Homologation, all the cool stuff.
Yeah,
but think about all them cool bikes back then, though, right? The late 90s, early 2000s, like these manufacturers were building a specific bike, just building enough of them so that they could go racing and win stuff, And nowadays, it's like, I don't want to say it's a glorified super stock championship because those bikes, even you see an R1 in the Graves pit, or you know what I mean, or one of the Suzukis, there's still a lot of work and cool stuff on them. It's just
there is. It's not the same.
You're riding computers.
They're faster though, aren't they? I mean, they're pulling out lap times way quicker now than they were 50 years ago.
Of course. Well, also, John, the tire technology and all that's far for exams, right? And that's most of the part for the lap times. But dude, the 90s and the 2000s, John, dude, the color schemes, we had the pinks and the purples and the blues and the violets. We don't now everything's just fucking plain
the color
Jane.
palettes came right off their jet ski line. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, right. Exactly. John, you're so right. Came straight off the jet ski line.
I've always wanted to own like a throwback a Kawasaki like super bike. Like those look so cool. I just don't know how to handle a bike with like carburetors and whatnot because I'm not that.
Dude, it's beautiful.
I know.
There's nothing like blipping the throttle, mentioned even. It's nothing like it. It's a total different experience.
Well, once I learn more,
we've got some.
Go ahead. Oh no,
I'm fortunate up here. We got friends of a couple of guys that are just diehard bike collectors. That one guy's got over 30 bikes, and they're all 80s and 90s bikes, and they're all museum pieces. And he's been real generous letting me ride stuff. Like, I mean, I've ridden, he's got a Jamie James, the magenta.
No way.
Bike.
No way.
All kinds of weird morphodite stuff, and ZX7Rs and from the mid 90s and early, late 80s and early 90s.
So what's your favorite 90s sports bike you've ridden?
They're so different though, right? I mean,
they are, John. You're right.
To the common
it's hard to
person,
say.
Nothing about motors. You're going to look at a new sport bike, an old sport bike, and that's a crotch rocket, right? Whatever. But I mean, you sit on one of them old bikes and you sit on a new one, you may as well be sitting on a Harley Bagger or a flat track bike. They're that different,
Yes.
Are they a lot easier to maintain?
What's that?
Like the older bikes. I have an 07
No,
GSXR.
I don't think they are. I mean, anything with carburetors is going to throw in that whole can of worms, right?
Well,
ignition is reliable, So I think the modern bikes are far and away easier to maintain. Really? The only problem runs into is if you run into electrical issues now or computer stuff. Now you got to go. Where back then it was stick and rudder, right? Everything was cable. There wasn't fly-by-wire throttle.
So, but in a sense, the 90s and the 80s and all that sports bikes were easier to work on as far as a mechanical standpoint as you're a track day junkie or you're turning wrenches. Nowadays, everything's so electronic that you have to take it to a dealership to have it plugged into their $20,000 computer that only the dealers can get, and that's how they make their money, and that's how they manufacture. I call them dealerships, right? Because that's what they do. Is they steal your money.
KTM.
It's frustrating.
All of them.
I'm not going to name it, but I got a bike in my garage that when the oil change comes up, the oil light comes on. The only way to get it reset is take it to the dealer. Now I won't name the brand, but it rhymes with Ducati, and I love that damn bike, but it just every time I'm like, man, I can't change the oil on my own bikes. Like stupid lights on.
Well, that company that rhymes with that is tattooed on Chris's arm.
It is. It is, John. So my love with Ducati started when I was a little kid and I seen one coming out of, because I grew up in the military. My dad was a fighter pilot. But anyway, I remember coming out and I was like, what is that? Because I grew up riding with my dad and stuff. And he's like, dude, that's a Ducati. And I was like, dude, that bike right there was so beautiful. It moved me in a way no other bike moved me, right? So that's where, because that's what happens. That's why you fall in love with motorcycles, right? You either ride them, or you get somebody takes you for a ride, or you see that one and you're just like, holy shit, it moves a soul part of you never knew you had. And that was it for me. And to this day, they're my favorite. And to me, I still have a love-hate relationship with them too. I have a love-hate, for sure with them. It's even worse with them than it is with Honda. I'll go ahead and confess it live right now. Yes. The reason why is because, man, going back to like MotoGP, even World Superbike, man, they don't give the riders the chance, like Lorenzo, they fired him after a couple rounds, or like with Andre Annoni, right? They should have kept him and got rid of Dovey back in the day. And man, I can sit here and go on and on and on, but it's
the suspension's almost up soon.
Right?
He ain't fucking coming back.
They put him on like he's got like a lifetime ban because he wore pants that were too short or something. I don't know what happened.
Was it like 2 or 4 years?
It originally was 2, but then he protested it and they extended it to 4. Which, dude, I just don't fucking it's like some bullshit, dude. Are you kidding me right now?
I'm not gonna lie. When I heard Petrucci was going to World Superbike, I'm like, someone get Iannone on the phone. Get him over here. He's got to be real confident to do something.
I've been saying this, John, to a buddy of mine just the other day. I was like, dude, bring Andre Iannone to World Superbike and watch what happens.
Warhorse, baby.
I'd like to see him one more shot. Why not?
Me too. To me, dude, he was such a raw talent that was wasted because, again, Ducati shit all over him when he took Dovi out, right, and made Dovi the rider. And from there, his kind of career kind of went in shambles because he was Italian and he really was passionate about that program. They fucked up. They fucked up for sure.
Yeah. And it's too bad because he was a fast dude who just kind of disappeared.
He was nasty. He was a
dog. Yeah, once in a while.
The maniac.
He's also a part-time fashion model,
right?
You see his Instagram? I don't know if you're on. Yeah, I don't know if you're on Instagram like that, John, but I don't know if you see Iannone's Instagram, but this man is like posing with like Calvin Klein or like shit like that, taking pictures with his wife, and they're so provocative. And I'm like, yo, my man's taking his suspension really nice. Right? He's
taking Jorge Lorenzo's scarf program and just ramped it way up, right?
He did, right? Ramped it up.
So what Jorge Lorenzo is doing is he's throwing so much shit against the wall and seeing what sticks. This man has tried modeling. This man has tried singing. This man has tried race cars. Like, I'm just like, dude, I heard him sing on The Masked Singer, and I was like, yeah, bro, say that for the karaoke bar. And I'm a huge Lorenzo fan, bro. But Iannone literally was like, okay, you suspend me, I'm gonna go ahead and be a fashion model. So that's what he's doing. He's all like tatted up and like all buff and like, yeah. But we need characters like that in the sport.
He don't, right? All Jorge does is run around and sign everything.
That's also true.
Just sign everything. Yeah, that's it. Just sign
he seems like he's a nice guy.
He was, to me, I always thought he was standoffish, but then, a lot of these people, you meet him in person, and I had a totally different opinion of Lorenzo in person. I met him at the Riders for Health. I got a signature on a picture one year, and he was real genuine, totally going and laughing at everybody. And
let me tell you about my story with Lorenzo. So,
let's go, Chris.
Yes. Yeah. So I hated Lorenzo for a long time just because I'm such a huge Rossi fan, right? But anyway, so Indy, I've been to every race at Indy except for one. So anyway, I show up, I'm Rossi hat, Rossi shirt. I'm standing outside the clinic mobile. Him and his assistant roll up, and Jorge goes in there, and his assistant stand out there. I was like, hey, man, I'd love to get a picture with Lorenzo. And he's like, well, you got Rossi hat and a Rossi shirt on. I was like, real quick, John, I had to think of something, right? I was like, well, I'm here because of my dad, and my dad's a big Rossi fan, so he bought me the hat and the shirt, but I really like Lorenzo, right? So he's like, I'll tell you what, if you take off the hat and the shirt, I'll get Lorenzo to give you a picture. I said, okay. So I took off my Rossi hat and my Rossi shirt just to get a picture with Lorenzo, and then immediately put it back on in front of Lorenzo before they took off. I was like, thanks. So that was my thing with Lorenzo.
Well, there you go.
At least that's not more worse than one of my friends. I'm not gonna. You guys heard that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my stupid friend outside. We're going bowling tonight, celebrating a friend's birthday, and he rolled up in his. I think it's his 97 Honda Civic hatchback. I don't know. I'm not really a car guy. But what I was gonna say was, what Chris's story is not as bad as like my friend. I'm not gonna say his name, but we were in New Jersey Motorsports Park, right? And I know some people in Warhorse, so I was able to hang out with the Warhorse guys, with Loris Boz and all of them, and we got free shirts. And my boy Jay got his shirt signed by Loris Boz and Eraldo Ferracci. And then we were walking to the Attack Yamaha little garage. And he goes up to Cam Peterson and is like, can you sign my shirt? And I was like, yo, Jay, that's a Warhorse shirt, man. What are you doing? And then even Cam P was like, you sure you want me to sign?
Are you sure you want me to do that? How about I just sign your shirt on your...
How about I sign your nipple or something? But like, you want me to sign a Warhorse shirt? I felt like that was like betrayal.
Yeah, basically, right?
That's like wearing a Rossi shirt and asking Marquez to sign your shirt.
See, now, super fans like us who have been going to the track long enough know to wear, neutral shirts when we go to the track,
Amen.
right? Because you don't
Absolutely, John.
want to be able to get whatever selfies or autographs you want to get, right?
Or you carry a
The nice
backpack
thing
with
about
individual
being-
shirts in them.
Yeah.
I can just throw my photo vest on over whoever shirt I got on. They don't know who I'm supporting until I take
Or
the
reverse
photo. Right.
Reverse your shirt.
Yeah, take it off and just put it inside out. Yeah.
When I was doing I do a lot of I was gonna say corner work, but that doesn't sound right. I do a lot of marshalling. So when I was at Formula E, right, I was wearing a team specific hat, and then one of our chiefs came through and was like, "You can't wear that hat." And I was like, "Why?" "Oh, because you're supposed to be impartial. You're not like, if you, God forbid, you get caught on camera wearing another team's merchandise, that could lead to like what do they call it? Trifling or
a conflict
of interest.
Right.
You fix the race. Like, I don't know. so we,
well, wasn't there that controversy that one year was that Marquez and Rossi that went down and they were complaining that they pushed Rossi out right away and got him going, and Marquez was stuck there. And it's like somebody like photoshopped in it, like Rossi hits on all the track marshals.
Yeah, it was awesome. I remember that. Yeah, that
tampering is what I meant to say.
Tampering,
not trifling.
yeah.
Tampering.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to be fans until the race is over.
Right.
Was there ever a time where you tried to take a picture of somebody and they were like, "Bro, get the fuck out of my face," or "Get rid of that picture"?
I've heard of riders doing it. It's never happened to me. I think you got to be respectful. I mean, here you got to know sometimes these guys come back from a crash, and the last thing they need is a camera stuck in their face, right? I mean, they're having maybe they're leading the points and they throw it away in the gravel trap.
Right.
I was Ben Spies one year up in Road America had a really bad crash on the sighting lap, and he came in and he landed on his head hard, and he popped a couple pain pills, and they stuck him on the backup bike. That was back when you had backup bikes yet, and sent him back out there, and the whole crew was covering everything. And I went over there with the camera, and I'm like, I'm going to let them do their thing, what I mean? Sometimes. Right. But that's where a longer lens comes in handy, too, because then you're not really up in their face. You can kind of just hang in the weeds and try to get that shot, But yeah, I don't know. I mean, some people, more times than not, you got to give the photographer a little, hey, give them a little space,
Right.
Yeah.
Because you're there to do your job too, right?
Right.
Yeah.
The only story I have of motorsports is somebody being kind of a dickwad about everything was Peyton Manning at an NHRA race of all things.
Really?
Dude, so now we're down in Indianapolis for the U.S. Nationals, which is a big drag race, right? One of their premier events, and that was when Peyton Manning was the Colts quarterback, and they announced him in front of all the fans and the whole thing, and he's down there, and it's the top fuel cars are running, and they bring him out to the start-finish line, or to the starting line, let him stand between the cars. And if you've ever been on one of these races, it's insane. Yeah, I've never been on the deck of an aircraft carrier, but I would assume it's real close.
It is massive, John, I'm going to tell you.
So, I was down there, and I had credentials for that. So I went to get a picture, and all his bodyguards are jumping in front of him and this whole thing. And then ESPN goes up to interview him, and they're like, "Oh, no. It's like, if you want to be introduced in front of the home fans in the off season, and you're, maybe give the sport a little, hey, wow, this is really cool. Give them a 20-second blurb,
Yeah.
Help that NHRA out there. They're bringing you here as a guest and doing something." I was kind of turned off by that. And I like Pete Manning, like his commercials are fine as hell. Right? But I was kind of like, you saw the backstory of that. And I don't want to badmouth the guy. Maybe there was something else going on that day. I don't know. But
that's true. No, so
you never know the other side.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I was just saying, Peyton Manning's big as shit. Why does he need all those security guards?
Right? Yeah, he kind of does
his
power over
Wheaties.
some people. I would say they're more crowd control than security, probably. But.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah. Have you ever been a super fan of a rider, a particular one, and then finally meet them and they're just a dick, and you're like,
I could name a couple names.
Have you, John?
I don't know. I mean, I met quite a few of them. I don't know anyone that's been real standoffish per se. Kenny Roberts Sr. At Laguna in 05 was in we had paddock passes, and my buddy had a little Kenny Roberts diecast that he had the side panel from, and he was digging in his bag to get it, and he asked Kenny for an autograph, and now he's digging there looking for it, and he goes, well, I can tell I'm an American again. Here I am standing around waiting. Like, he was all kind of ornery, but it's like, that's Kenny Roberts, right? Like,
yeah, that's Kenny, right?
Kenny Roberts.
I love King awesome. Kenny.
Yeah. You just got told all by Kenny. That's even better than an autograph. You fucking kidding me right now?
It's a better story than an autograph. You know?
No shit, right?
It's a good story to tell at a bar.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
This guy.
Speaking of bars, that's where we met Valentino Rossi in Indy. It was at the hotel bar.
I was gonna say, John, tell us some MotoGP cool ass rider bar stories you have.
Oh, okay. So I got one epic one. So we're at the Omni Hotel downtown Indy. My buddy's staying down there. We're upstairs. We're making some mojitos or some crap. We had some kind of drinks. Anyway,
concoction. Right.
I'm gonna go back outside. A concoction. I'm gonna go outside because downtown Indy at night, the bike night. There's a million bikes out there. Everybody's just go walk around, check it out, right? So I'm walking through the lobby, and I look over, and I'm like, bunch of Rossi fans, whatever. I'm like, wait a minute, that looks like Uccio, and that's his Drudy, the helmet guy. And then sure enough, there's Rossi. They're all sitting there at a table, at a bar high table. So I'm like, well, maybe it is worth hanging out and getting a drink here, right? So
absolutely.
Buddy meets me. We're hanging out. Next thing I know, the whole Speed Vision crew walks in, like Ralph Shaheen and Scott Russell was announcing back then. And now everybody's kind of like, all these tables, there's nobody in there. Like, the lobby's empty. Everybody's outside. And there's like 15 of us. And we're all just sitting around talking. Next thing I know, we're all kind of sharing a table.
It's like a candy store.
So like, of course we got some pictures of Rossi because, dude, when in Rome, right? You got to make that. So but he was super cool, and he's got a beer. It's like midnight. That was when he was riding for Ducati then. I think he was just kind of like
2011, 2012.
So he's depressed.
Yeah. It was probably 13 or was it 11? No, it was 13 probably. But at any rate, so now Russell and him, he's like, apparently Rossi's a huge Scott Russell fan, so he goes over there and jaw jacking, and next thing I know, Russell's got Rossi in a headlock, and he's giving him a noogie right in the damn thing, and they're all laughing so hard, like all of Rossi's entourage, they're just cracking up, And I don't know what Rossi and Russell are talking about, but it was pretty damn funny. I kind of got a picture of it with my little point and shoot camera, like right at the end where Rossi's just, dying laughing, right? So it was just funny that we had this weird experience, right? So the next year, a buddy of mine up here is a huge Rossi fan. I said, oh, dude, he hangs out at the hotel bar. Yeah, you're full of crap, whatever. That doesn't happen. So next year, sure enough, go hotel bar. So about 11:30, here comes the whole entourage again, just like right on cue, just like last year. So I called my buddy. He comes over. He goes, he ain't here. I'm like, he's sitting right behind me. He goes, no kidding, him. I'm like, yeah, I know, that's him. So that was just kind of funny. But just seeing Scott Russell put Rossi in a headlock at the bar at midnight the night before qualifying, it's just
epic.
Classic.
Not many people can do that, yo.
And Russell's just, you run into Russell anywhere. He's a good storyteller anyway. He's a nice guy. Like, he'll hang out,
I wonder if Rossi could fight. I don't know. I'm sitting here like he's got him a headlock.
Yeah, I don't think he could. No.
Really?
No.
You know what?
On a motorcycle, yes.
No. Can we cross into my world for like 5 seconds?
Yeah.
So, Mr. Jon Kanter, I'm a big UFC fan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big martial arts fan.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
From you being a fan of the sport, anyone nowadays besides Cal Crutchlow, because I feel like that's an easy answer. Do you think there's anybody in the paddock nowadays that could fight?
That's a good question.
My answer would be Jorge Martin.
Jorge's tiny, though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But he's a little pit bull.
Yeah.
Or Aaron Canet.
I don't think Aaron Canet can swing. He walks funny.
Why? Just because he's got a neck tattoo? Don't make him.
Right.
No, he's not. Like, I've met Aaron Canet. I've taken a picture with him.
Me too.
I've seen him walk, and I'm just like, sometimes you can tell if someone has like some sort of edge by the way they walk. So if they walk too like narrow and like shoulder to shoulder, the balance is off, then like, yeah, I can't. But like people like, I guess Jorge Martin, where they walk a little bit more wide, like, yeah, okay, maybe this guy can swing. I know Cal Crutchlow can swing.
all the damn bikes are so close now that all the riders are on these crazy ass diets where they're basically living on swamp juice and you know what I mean? They're trimmed down to nothing. And like the days of like Aaron Yates drop kicking somebody in the gravel trap,
which was epic. Yeah, I remember that.
Right. You know what I mean? Like any of that. Right. I don't see that anymore. That's what kind of sucks a little bit, right?
Yeah, or that time Curtis Roberts wrecked it VIR and lay down in the middle of the track. Wasn't that him, or was that Aaron Yates too?
No, that was Curtis. Yeah, he did that.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was Curtis. Yeah, I was like, what does he do? I was there.
Bautista could probably throw it on.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, you think the bowling ball? He might be all right.
yeah, I would say he'd probably be all right.
This is why I love this podcast, because like you can literally ask any hypothetical question. So it's like I bring my world into it. So I'm just like, man, I wonder which one of these riders can fight. I've seen Scott Redding hit mitts. I've seen Toprak. Toprak is really taking boxing seriously, although he looks kind of funny doing it. Redding is okay, and I thought they were training to fight each other because I know Toprak and Redding hate each other.
Oh yeah.
So I think when Redding posted those videos of him hitting mitts, Toprak's like, shit, I need to learn how to fight too.
That's it.
I don't know what his accent sounds. I don't know a Turkish accent. Sorry, Turkey.
All right. But, well, now you bring up Toprak, but I feel like if you're an announcer in World Superbike, that one announcer, and I can't think of his name, but
Jonathan Green.
Not just say Toprak. He has to say his absolute entire name every time he mentions.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Because how many times do you hear that in a race? Like, it's awesome. I can't say it once. I still can't say it. I'm sitting there. I can't.
It's like
it tongue twisters me too.
It's like Valentino.
I can say it if I say it really slow.
Oh, that's gotta be a loop.
And I'm reading it.
Apparently, Toprak in Turkish means soil.
He's like the Joe Dirt.
Right, that's what I was gonna say. Joe Dirt. That's awesome, John. I love it. Joe Dirt.
Yo, my man Toprak is
it's not Joe Toprak.
Right.
Joe Dirt. Joe Soil.
So what other sports do you watch, John? Do you watch like soccer or football or anything? Or
World Cup?
Being from Wisconsin, I'm brainwashed into the whole Packer thing. But I'm so into it that they're actually playing right now, and I don't even know what the score is. So that's how far I am into that.
But you're podcasting with us, dude, and I'm an honor, and I love you, John.
That
is epic.
Dude,
especially the way they're playing this year. But yeah, I don't know. I do that. I play a little golf. Did a lot of volleyball, but that's about it. I don't watch those other sports.
I like soccer.
Yeah,
is it soccer or football?
Yeah, soccer. I like soccer.
I played football in middle school. I was a first string quarterback.
Here in America, we're confused on that.
Yeah.
We are.
Football, you mean soccer?
Yeah, you mean soccer?
What is this World Cup?
Yeah, right.
Does it hold beer?
That was genius. I like that.
Yeah.
That Peyton Manning, what's the David Beckham commercial?
That was good. Yeah.
This is football.
Yeah,
football. It's hand egg.
Before I got into bike stuff in the 90s, I was big in IndyCar and F1 back in the 80s and 90s. Was like, and I still watch a little bit of both. IndyCar's kind of lost me.
I love IndyCar.
I watch F1 some too, John. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, F1's okay.
It's good.
F1's okay.
It's good. Man, it's just so political.
And the same like 3 people win every day.
And they got that bullshit DRS, and you can only use it certain times. I mean, is this not fucking car racing, or is this I'll tell you when you can hit the fast button and not to hit it?
It hasn't been the same since they switched to the power unit, as they call it. I miss the back to V10s. You know what I mean? That's
hell yeah. They sound like
that was when it was the best.
And it sounded so good.
The first year they came to Indy, and it was just like one car going around the track through them grandstands, and it was so loud. I loved it.
I couldn't imagine. I mean, the MotoGP bikes there at Indy were phenomenal, but it
sounded good there too. Yeah.
Oh God, yes, they did.
The thing about Indy, that front straight is so long and so fast, and then you got all that metal and concrete around everything, and just the sound just resonated through your brain, like you couldn't get away from it. It was great.
It's magical. You had to be there to that was one of those moments you had to be there to actually experience too.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had the experience you guys did, because man, I feel like there's so much in the sport, and like I'm just scratching the surface, and talking to people like you, Candid Jon Kanter, it's good to just live these stories vicariously through you guys, and also the show, because you guys have your skin in the game for so long. So this is only the surface for me, and like, you know, I can't wait to hopefully run into you at Road America, and just take Pin the Gas to actual tracks, and to hopefully get credentials as well, because that's what we're trying to do, especially when I'm gonna have a camera now. So that's the plan.
Well, and hey, so when I'm up there, dude, we got 6 campsites together with a bunch of toy haulers, and we got like a bike show on our campsite, and we're up all day and night, and I'm shooting photos all day, and we're having some cocktails in the evening. It's a good time, you know. And it's 4 straight days of talking bikes and having a good time. So
just being that's what it's about. So what races are you shooting at next year? Do you have any plans?
I don't know. I'm going to try to maybe do a couple ice races up here this year. We got a lot of local flat track on the ice kind of thing going on. Just, you know, some local stuff.
That's kind of sick.
Oh, yeah. It's awesome.
If you've never seen a race one, you know, a flat track style bike with some studded tires has more grip than any road racing bike with slicks you've ever been on. It's amazing. And you drag your elbow on the ground on a frozen lake. It's insane. It's cool.
All right, so gentlemen, we're hitting the 55-minute mark. I think we're gonna wrap it up here. I had so much fun. I had a lot of fun because like I can't like geek out in camera shit like with anyone. So it's so fun, and I have more questions for you.
Hey, you know where I'm at.
Yeah, I would love to reach out to you for some pointers. But before we wrap up the show, is there anything you, John, that you want to share? And Chris, do you have something that you want to ask?
Go ahead, John.
Well,
I'll go.
I don't know if this is airing before or after, but Merry Christmas to everybody out there who's listening. And
Merry Christmas.
This is after. I hope you had a great holiday, and hopefully we see you guys out at some events. We're at Road America Superbike this year. You got to stop up and say hi. So
let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just want to say, John, it's an honor again. Sorry, that's my dog Cruz right here. He said hi too, John. But I just want to say, John, I would love to do a part 2 with you on the podcast.
Yes,
because we definitely have more to talk about. So much more to talk about. So after the holidays, you know, next year we'll obviously always stay in touch on Facebook, and
hell yeah.
Now that you know you message me, we'll exchange phone numbers and definitely stay in touch, man. And again, John, it was an honor, and your story is truly epic, and people like you and we need more people like you in the sport and in your stories to get out there. And I hope you have a wonderful holiday and a Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays, Candid Jon Kanter.
Back at you guys. Cheers. It's been a blast.
Absolutely. Cheers.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is our show. Candid Jon Kanter. Thank you so much for donating some of your time to the Pin the Gas podcast crew. I don't know what's in that cup, but hopefully it's spiked.
I'm sure it's race fuel.
It's race fuel. And if you guys like this podcast, go ahead and please leave a comment. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok. Chris is getting that TikTok going. Leave a like, comment. Let us know what you think, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.